For 8 unforgettable seasons, Diff'rent Strokes brought joy and important social messages into American homes. Yet behind the catchphrases and heartwarming family moments lay a darker reality. Many of the beloved actors who made us laugh and think would later face struggles that ended far too soon. The irony is heartbreaking. A show about finding family and hope became shadowed by tragedy as its stars battled addiction, illness, and personal demons. Their stories remind us that the bright lights of stardom often conceal profound pain. Gary Coleman. Gary Coleman became one of the most recognizable faces on television when he took on the role of Arnold Jackson in Diff'rent Strokes. His character's famous catchphrase, "What you talkin' about, Willis?" became part of American pop culture, and his precocious personality made him the breakout star of the show. Coleman's portrayal of the youngest adopted son brought both humor and heart to the series, making him one of the highest-paid child actors of his time, and earning him the love of millions of viewers who watched him grow up on screen. Born on February 8, 1968, in Zion, Illinois, Gary Wayne Coleman faced health challenges from the very beginning of his life. He was adopted as an infant by Willie and Sue Coleman, and by age 5, he was already modeling for Montgomery Ward and appearing in television commercials for major brands like McDonald's and Hallmark. His natural charisma and comedic timing caught the attention of producer Norman Lear, who cast him in an unsuccessful pilot for The Little Rascals before giving him the role that would define his career on Diff'rent Strokes. Coleman's success on the show was remarkable, but it came with a heavy price. He suffered from a congenital kidney disease that required 2 transplants and stunted his growth, leaving him just 4 feet 8 inches tall as an adult. Despite earning millions during the show's 8-year run, Coleman discovered upon turning 18 that his parents and advisors had mismanaged most of his fortune, leaving him nearly broke. The transition from child star to adult actor proved incredibly difficult, as he struggled to find roles that weren't based on his Diff'rent Strokes persona. After the show ended, Coleman's life became increasingly troubled. He worked various jobs, including a position as a shopping mall security guard, which led to several highly publicized confrontations with fans and paparazzi. His personal relationships were often rocky, and he faced multiple legal and financial problems throughout his adult years. He appeared in reality shows and made cameo appearances that often seemed to mock his former fame rather than celebrate his talent. On May 26, 2010, Coleman fell down the stairs at his home in Utah, suffering a brain hemorrhage that put him in a coma. 2 days later, on May 28, 2010, he died at Utah Valley Regional Medical Center at the age of 42. Gary Coleman's death marked the end of a life that had brought joy to countless viewers but had been marked by struggle and tragedy behind the scenes, reminding us of the unique challenges faced by child stars in Hollywood. Dana Plato. Dana Plato played Kimberly Drummond, the sweet and well-meaning teenage daughter of wealthy businessman Philip Drummond on Diff'rent Strokes. Her character served as the caring big sister to adopted brothers Arnold and Willis, often providing a voice of reason and compassion in the household. Plato's portrayal of the wholesome, rule-following daughter made her a role model for young viewers during the show's early seasons, and her blonde hair and girl-next-door appearance made her one of the most recognizable young actresses of the early 1980s. Born Dana Michelle Strain on November 7, 1964 in Maywood, California, she was adopted as an infant and raised by Dean and Florine Plato. From a young age, Dana showed interest in performing and began modeling and appearing in commercials while still in elementary school. Her natural acting ability and photogenic looks led to guest appearances on television shows, before she landed her breakthrough role on Diff'rent Strokes at the age of 13. During an interview, she once joked that she would have liked her character to do something bad for a change, because Kimberly was so candy sweet, it's sickening. Plato's life began to change dramatically during the show's 6th season when she became pregnant at age 18. The producers, unable to write her pregnancy into the storyline, gradually reduced her role and eventually wrote her character out of the show with the explanation that Kimberly had moved to Paris to study. This marked the beginning of a downward spiral that would plague the rest of her short life. After leaving Diff'rent Strokes, Plato struggled to find steady acting work and made the decision to pose for Playboy magazine in 1989, hoping it would revive her career. The years following her departure from the show were marked by personal and legal troubles. Despite earning $25,000 per episode during her time on Diff'rent Strokes, Plato found herself working low-paying jobs, including a position as a cashier at a dry cleaning store in Las Vegas. In February 1991, she robbed a video store with a pellet gun, making off with just $164. The store clerk famously told the 911 operator, "I've just been robbed by the girl who played Kimberly on Diff'rent Strokes." She was arrested again the following year for forging prescriptions for Valium. On May 8, 1999, Dana Plato was found dead in her motorhome in Moore, Oklahoma, at the age of 34. The official cause of death was ruled a suicide by drug overdose, specifically from a combination of prescription medications. Her death came just one day after she appeared on The Howard Stern Show, where she discussed her struggles with addiction and her attempts to rebuild her life. Dana Plato's tragic end serves as a stark reminder of how quickly fame can fade and how the pressures of child stardom can have lasting, devastating effects on young performers. Conrad Bain. Conrad Bain brought warmth and dignity to the role of Philip Drummond, the wealthy Manhattan businessman who adopted two young boys from Harlem in Diff'rent Strokes. His portrayal of the well-meaning father figure who navigated the challenges of raising children from different backgrounds made him the moral center of the show. Bain's natural ability to balance comedy with heartfelt moments helped ground the series, and his genuine care for his young co-stars, both on and off camera, made him a beloved patriarch not just in the fictional Drummond household, but among the entire cast and crew. Born Conrad Stafford Bain on February 4, 1923, in Lethbridge, Alberta, Canada, he grew up in a family that valued education and the arts. After serving in the Canadian Army during World War II, Bain moved to New York City to pursue his dream of becoming an actor. He spent years honing his craft in theater, appearing in numerous Broadway productions throughout the 1950s and 60s. His stage work included roles in classical plays and contemporary dramas, where he developed the solid acting foundation that would serve him well throughout his television career. Before landing his most famous role, Bain had already established himself as a reliable character actor on television. His most notable pre-Diff'rent Strokes role was playing Dr. Arthur Harmon, the conservative neighbor on the groundbreaking sitcom Maude, where he appeared for 6 seasons alongside B. Arthur. This role showcased his ability to play both comedic and dramatic scenes with equal skill, and his work on Maude directly led to producer Norman Lear casting him as Philip Drummond. Bain once said that the best part of working on Diff'rent Strokes was being a part of those kids growing up and learning their craft, being able to put your oar in here and there and give them help. During the show's 8-year run, Bain served as more than just a co-star to Gary Coleman, Todd Bridges, and Dana Plato. He became a genuine father figure to the young actors, offering guidance and support during their formative years in the entertainment industry. When the young cast members faced personal struggles, both during and after the show's run, Bain remained a steady presence in their lives, visiting them during difficult times and always being available when they needed advice or encouragement. On January 14, 2013, Conrad Bain died at the age of 89 from complications following a stroke. His death marked the end of a life dedicated to his craft and to the people he worked with throughout his long career. His final television appearance was a touching tribute to his Diff'rent Strokes legacy, when he appeared alongside Gary Coleman in the finale of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, reprising their father-son relationship one last time. Conrad Bain's gentle strength and unwavering professionalism left a lasting impact on everyone who knew him, proving that sometimes the most important roles an actor plays happen when the cameras stop rolling. Charlotte Rae. Charlotte Rae played Mrs. Edna Garrett, the warm and wise housekeeper who helped hold the Drummond family together during the first 2 seasons of Diff'rent Strokes. Her character brought a maternal presence to the household, offering guidance and comfort to the children while managing the day-to-day operations of their busy home. Ray's portrayal of Mrs. Blank. Garrett was so beloved that it launched one of television's most successful spin-offs, The Facts of Life, where she continued to play the caring authority figure for 9 more seasons. Her natural ability to combine humor with heartfelt moments made her a television icon and a surrogate mother figure for an entire generation of viewers. Born Charlotte Ray Lubotsky on April 22, 1926, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, she discovered her love for performing at an early age. After studying drama at Northwestern University, she moved to New York City in the late 1940s to pursue a career in theater. Ray spent years performing in nightclubs, on Broadway, and in early television variety shows, where she developed her skills as both a comedic and dramatic performer. Her distinctive voice and expressive face made her a natural for character roles, and she quickly became a familiar presence in the entertainment world. Before joining Diff'rent Strokes, Ray had already established herself as a versatile character actress with memorable roles in various television shows and Broadway productions. She appeared on game shows, variety programs, and sitcoms throughout the 1960s and 70s, building a reputation as a reliable and talented performer. Producer Norman Lear specifically sought her out for Diff'rent Strokes because he believed her traditional sitcom skills and maternal qualities would provide the perfect balance for the show's unique family dynamic. Her chemistry with the cast was immediate, and she became an integral part of the show's early success. When The Facts of Life was created as a spin-off in 1979, Ray made the difficult decision to leave Diff'rent Strokes to take on the lead role as housemother at the Eastland School for Girls. This move allowed her to showcase her range as an actress while continuing to play the type of nurturing character that had made her famous. Throughout both shows, and long after they ended, Ray maintained close relationships with her young co-stars, particularly offering support during their personal struggles. When Gary Coleman, Dana Plato, and Todd Bridges faced various challenges in their adult lives, Ray remained a constant source of encouragement and love. Charlotte Ray was diagnosed with bone cancer in 2017, and she passed away on August 5, 2018, at the age of 92. Her death marked the end of an era for television comedy and left Todd Bridges as the sole surviving member of the original Diff'rent Strokes cast. Upon hearing the news of her passing, Bridges said, "I just broke down. I'm the only one left. That's hard to deal with." Charlotte Ray's legacy extends far beyond her television roles, as she touched countless lives both through her performances and through her genuine care for the people she worked with throughout her long and distinguished career. Nedra Volz. Nedra Volz stepped into the role of Adelaide Brubaker, the second housekeeper on Diff'rent Strokes, bringing a completely different energy to the Drummond household than her predecessor Charlotte Ray. Where Mrs. Garrett had been warm and motherly, Adelaide was cranky, outspoken, and set in her ways, often clashing with the family members while still managing to show she cared about them deep down. Volz's portrayal of the feisty, elderly woman provided a new source of comedy for the show during seasons 3 and 4, and her character's no-nonsense attitude and sharp tongue made her a memorable part of the series during a crucial period in its development. Born Nedra Gordonier on June 18, 1908, in Montrose, Iowa, she began her entertainment career before she could even walk properly. Her parents were vaudeville performers who put their young daughter on stage as Baby Nedra, and she continued performing with the family act until she was 11 years old and had outgrown the cute factor that made the act successful. After trying her hand at acting in high school without much success, she shifted her focus to music and became a featured vocalist with Cato's Vagabonds, a popular big band in the early 1930s. She even made a recording with Will Osborne's orchestra in 1933, though her entertainment career would eventually take a very different direction. Volz stepped away from show business for many years to focus on raising her family after marrying Orrin Volz in 1944. She had 3 children and lived a quiet life in Columbus, Ohio, until her husband's successful business career allowed her to return to performing in her 60s. Producer Norman Lear discovered her talents and began casting her in various roles across his television shows, including appearances on Good Times, All in the Family, and Maude. Her distinctive appearance, with her white hair pulled back in a bun and her petite stature, made her perfect for playing feisty elderly characters who could deliver cutting remarks with perfect timing. Beyond Diff'rent Strokes, Volz became a familiar face on television throughout the 1980s, appearing on shows like The Dukes of Hazzard, where she played the postmistress Emma Tisdale, and The Fall Guy, where she worked alongside Lee Majors as a bail bondswoman. Her film career included memorable roles in comedies like Moving Violations and Lust in the Dust, where she often played eccentric old ladies who surprised audiences with their toughness and wit. Despite being in her 70s and 80s during many of these performances, she did many of her own stunts and brought remarkable energy to every role. Nedra Volz was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease in her later years, and she passed away on January 20, 2003, at the age of 94 from complications related to the illness. Her death came at a time when she had been living at an assisted care facility in Mesa, Arizona, where she had moved to be closer to family. While her time on Diff'rent Strokes was relatively brief compared to other cast members, her impact on the show and on television comedy was significant, proving that talented performers can find success and make lasting impressions at any stage of their lives. Dixie Carter. Dixie Carter joined Diff'rent Strokes during its 6th season as Maggie McKinney, a divorced fitness instructor who became Philip Drummond's second wife, and brought her young son Sam into the already bustling household. Her character added a new dynamic to the show, introducing romantic storylines for the widowed patriarch, while also expanding the family unit during a time when the series needed fresh energy. Carter's natural Southern charm and elegant presence brought sophistication to the role, and her chemistry with Conrad Bain helped the show successfully navigate the challenge of adding new main characters to an established family structure. Born Dixie Virginia Carter on May 25, 1939, in McLemoresville, Tennessee, she grew up in a small rural community where her family ran a general store. After graduating from the University of Memphis, she competed in the 1959 Miss Tennessee pageant, where she finished as first runner-up. This experience led her to New York City, where she began studying acting and working in theater productions. Carter spent years building her craft on stage, appearing in Broadway shows, and developing the strong vocal skills that would become one of her trademark talents throughout her career. Carter's television career began in earnest during the 1970s, when she appeared on soap operas including The Edge of Night, and later moved into primetime television with guest roles on various series. Before joining Diff'rent Strokes, she had appeared on shows like Out of the Blue and On Our Own, steadily building her reputation as a reliable actress who could handle both comedy and drama. Her work on the short-lived series Filthy Rich caught the attention of producer Linda Bloodworth Thomason, who would later create the role that would define Carter's career and make her a household name across America. After leaving Diff'rent Strokes, when the show moved from NBC to ABC, Carter landed the role that would become her greatest achievement, Julia Sugarbaker on Designing Women. From 1986 to 1993, she starred as the sharp-tongued, politically passionate interior decorator who became famous for her eloquent speeches defending Southern women and liberal causes. The role earned her widespread critical acclaim and multiple award nominations, including an Emmy nomination in 2007 for her guest appearances on Desperate Housewives. Throughout her career, Carter was also an accomplished singer, performing in cabaret shows and recording albums that showcased her rich, powerful voice. Dixie Carter was diagnosed with endometrial cancer in early 2010, and she passed away on April 10, 2010, at the age of 70 in Houston, Texas, surrounded by her family. Her death came just weeks before Gary Coleman's passing, marking a particularly difficult year for the Diff'rent Strokes family. Her husband, actor Hal Holbrook, released a statement calling her death a terrible blow to our family. Carter's legacy extends far beyond her television roles, as she used her platform to advocate for various causes and remained committed to her craft until the very end, with her final film appearance being alongside Holbrook in the 2009 movie That Evening Sun. Mary Ann Mobley. Mary Ann Mobley took over the role of Maggie McKinney Drummond during the 8th and final season of Diff'rent Strokes, replacing Dixie Carter when the show moved from NBC to ABC. Her character had to maintain the established family dynamic while bringing her own interpretation to the role of Philip Drummond's wife and Sam's mother during a crucial time when the series was fighting for survival in its new network home. Mobley's experience and professionalism helped stabilize the show during this transition period, and her warm portrayal of the fitness instructor turned stepmother provided continuity for viewers who had grown attached to the character over the previous seasons. Born on February 17, 1937, in Biloxi, Mississippi, Mary Ann Mobley grew up in Brandon, Mississippi, where she excelled academically and socially throughout her school years. After graduating from the University of Mississippi, where she was a member of the Chi Omega sorority, she entered the Miss America pageant system and made history in 1959 by becoming the first woman from Mississippi to win the Miss America crown. Her victory launched her into the entertainment world, where she signed a 5-year contract with MGM Studios and began studying acting with the legendary Lee Strasberg in New York City. Mobley's film career took off in the mid-1960s when she appeared in 2 movies with Elvis Presley, starring opposite the King of Rock and Roll in Girl Happy and Harum Skarum in 1965. These films, along with her work in 3 on a Couch with Jerry Lewis, established her as a leading lady in Hollywood comedies and earned her a Golden Globe Award for Most Promising Newcomer. Throughout the 1970s and 80s, she became a familiar face on television, making multiple appearances on popular shows like Fantasy Island, The Love Boat, Perry Mason, and Burke's Law, while also working as a frequent celebrity panelist on game shows like Match Game. Beyond her entertainment career, Mobley dedicated significant time and energy to humanitarian causes, particularly focusing on children's welfare around the world. She traveled to countries including Cambodia, Ethiopia, Somalia, and Sudan to create documentary films highlighting the struggles of homeless and starving children, using her celebrity status to bring attention to important global issues. She served on the boards of numerous charitable organizations, including the March of Dimes and the United Cerebral Palsy Association, and was appointed to the National Council on Disability, where she worked to improve conditions for people with disabilities. Mary Ann Mobley was first diagnosed with breast cancer in 2009 and underwent treatment, but the disease returned and ultimately claimed her life on December 9, 2014, at her home in Beverly Hills, California, at the age of 77. She was surrounded by her family, including her daughters from her marriage to television host Gary Collins, who had passed away 2 years earlier. Her death marked the end of a life dedicated not only to entertainment but also to making a positive difference in the world, proving that her true legacy extended far beyond her roles on screen to the countless lives she touched through her charitable work and advocacy. Dodie Goodman. Dodie Goodman brought her unique brand of quirky humor to Diff'rent Strokes as Aunt Sophia Drummond, Philip's eccentric sister who appeared in several episodes during the early 1980s. Her character provided comic relief through her scatter-brained personality and tendency to say exactly what was on her mind, often creating awkward but hilarious situations for the Drummond family. Goodman's distinctive high-pitched voice and childlike delivery made her instantly recognizable to audiences, and her appearances on the show added an extra layer of family dysfunction that highlighted the already complex dynamics within the household, while giving viewers some of the series' most memorable comedic moments. Born Dolores Goodman on October 28, 1914, in Columbus, Ohio, she was the daughter of parents who ran a small cigar factory. From an early age, she showed a passion for dance and moved to New York City in the late 1930s to study at prestigious institutions, including the School of American Ballet and the Metropolitan Opera Ballet School. She spent her early career performing as a chorus member in Broadway musicals, appearing in shows like Something for the Boys, One Touch of Venus, and Wonderful Town, where she first received billing under the name Dodie rather than her birth name Dolores. Goodman's breakthrough came in the late 1950s when she became a semi-regular on The Tonight Show with Jack Paar, where her innocent but often inappropriate comments made her a favorite with both the host and the audience. Her unique comedic style, which one critic described as sounding like a Tweety Pie cartoon bird strangling on peanut butter, made her perfect for playing ditzy characters who could deliver the most ordinary lines in ways that made them absolutely hilarious. This led to her most famous television role as Martha Shumway, the mother of the title character in the satirical soap opera Mary Hartman, where she provided the opening narration and appeared regularly throughout the show's run. In addition to her television work, Goodman found success in movies, most notably playing Blanche Hodel, the scatterbrained assistant to the principal in both Grease and Grease 2. Her film career also included roles in Splash, with Tom Hanks, and various comedy films throughout the 1980s, where she typically played elderly women who surprised audiences with their unexpected wisdom or outrageous behavior. She also worked extensively as a voice actor, most notably as Miss Miller in the Alvin and the Chipmunks animated series, where her distinctive voice brought the character to life for a new generation of fans. On June 22, 2008, Dodie Goodman passed away peacefully at Englewood Hospital and Medical Center in New Jersey at the age of 93 from natural causes. She had been living at the Lillian Booth Actors Home since October 2007, where she was cared for during her final months. Her death marked the end of a career that spanned over 50 years and touched multiple generations of audiences through her work in theater, television, and film. Dodie Goodman never married and had no children, but she left behind a legacy of laughter and the fond memories of countless fans who appreciated her ability to find humor in the most ordinary moments of life.